Let's see.
Alright, well, I guess I'll just keep going because everything's set correctly.
Let's just switch. Let me see here. One of the League of Legends streamers is working. Let's see. Let me see. I'm refreshing the page, seeing if it'll work.
Okay. They said the Twitch customer service says it's dead. So it is not us, thankfully.
Thank God, yeah.
Um,
The draft is still going.
I don't think they'll want us to hold it. We definitely wouldn't hold it draft. All right. Lame, this stinks.
I know, right?
It was going so well, too.
This happened last Wednesday, actually, and not last Wednesday. It was a few Wednesdays ago, and I was like,
Really?
"Oh, this is gonna mess up HeroesHype," and then they fixed it like an hour before.
Twitch has failed to Twitch.
Oh, Twitch failed.
Well, let's see. We can just keep going, I guess, and just talk, and then hopefully it'll come up because we'll probably want to practice anyway. All right, so what do you think so far of Fraud Esports' comp? We've got ETC, Jaina, Vala, and Uther.
Well, I can definitely see where they're coming with this comp here. Uther's very strong, especially with CC on this map, and so far, the backline is with Tehran and Sylvanas. It's really strong. And with that being said, Sylvanas is going to have a good lane push, and her team fight can be really powerful too. And Tehran, with her ultimate Starfall, it can have great crowd control and zoning. So it can be very powerful. It can cause a team to want to back off, and the AoE, it does a lot of damage, along with Sylvanas' ult coming in. And so far, they seem very stable in terms of health-wise. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna really say that they can get out healed here, but they can still get out damaged very well because they have such a small health pool compared to how much burst Jaina and Vala can dish out, along with BTC sliding in and putting such pressure on them. And all they really have for their front line is Rhaegar. So if Rhaegar gets targeted down, that's going to cause a big hurt in their team fight. So I'm guessing they're going to be very map aware with Tehran's Owl. They're going to be very soak heavy. So if Fraud... Ooh, Thrall.
Then
I
they
actually haven't
banned
seen Thrall.
Brightwing, too, so Fraud Esports throwing...
Brightwing isn't that bad.
Yeah. Throwing some crazy stuff out. Do you think the Brightwing was something that they just don't like to deal with, or do you think it's something Avid Pulse is, like they're picking on Avid Pulse here a little bit? I wouldn't even know.
Like, I mean, Brightwing, and we do use Brightwing quite a bit, especially when we're playing, and it's because Brightwing is very powerful as terms of crowd control and in terms of being so mobile, and that's what's so nice about her on these huge maps is her mobility. And I've never had one issue playing with her because with Blink Kill or with wins, you can just cause such a ruckus in a team fight, and that CC can mean the world of difference in a team fight depending on who you use it on and who you're targeting. So it's I feel like it can be a strong ban, but I feel like it could be a stronger pick. So if they were really afraid of Brightwing, I feel they should have picked her up, but not been too afraid on this map.
Well, we'll have to see what they can make do with Vala, Jaina, ETC, Uther, and Thrall. I did find out that the stream is finally live, guys. Sorry, there were some technical issues, but we're here now. It is Gillyweed once again, and this time I'm joined by Finn, who will be here for a couple of games, and then we'll have Anna back as well. So, hi, Finn.
Hi, how you doing?
Great. I actually had a little bit of an interview with Finn, who has played here in the HeroesHype Amateur Series before, but unfortunately you guys didn't get to see it because, yeah.
I spilled my heart to you guys, and you weren't even there.
It's true, it's true. We'll have to save that for another day, for sure. But I think these teams are ready to get started, guys. We've got Avid Pulse versus Fraud Esports here on Cursed Hollow. And once again, the picks were Sylvanas, Tyrande, Rhaegar, Tychus, and Diablo for Avid Pulse, and Thrall, Uther, ETC, Jaina, and Vala for Fraud Esports.
So it's definitely going to be really an exciting game here, and I feel like, and just out of favor for a comp, I feel like Fraud actually has a stronger comp than Avid. But we'll see who can play the best in this upcoming match here on Cursed Hollow. Really excited to see this in cast with Mrs. Gillyweed.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get to cast with you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, guys, of course, this is the HeroesHype Amateur Series, so this is for amateur teams to be able to come in to a tournament and be able to experience the tournament atmosphere without trying to just straight up enter major leagues, but still get more of the idea of how it is versus, say, a team league even, or Hero League, scrims, things like that. So that's what we will be up to. We're loading into the game. And do you want to tell maybe a little bit about how Cursed Hollow works for our new watchers?
Well, Cursed Hollow here, and I'm not going to go too in-depth, but there's a lot of interesting tactics here on Cursed Hollow, and I may actually release a guide soon for Cursed Hollow just because it can be a little more in-depth than people think. But your main goal here is to soak lanes, and you can collect a tribute, and once 3 of these are collected for one team, you're going to be able to get a curse on the enemy team, disabling all of their forts, including towers and the fort and the cannons, along with the minions only having 1 health on the enemy team, allowing your lanes to push very far and can put a lot of hurt on your enemy team. And even during this curse, you can still get camps, which are the 2 boss camps, 1 for each side of the map, along with the knight camps and the bruiser camps.
Awesome. That's a little bit, but we'll see it get more in depth. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams. We've got Avid Pulse with Zoltango on Sylvanas, Dark Whale on the Diablo, Jinkle Sassy on Rhaegar. I am Visored on the Tyrande, and finally Wiswa. We're still confused about how to say that, but that's on the Tychus. Wiswa.
And we already see a lot of aggression here in the mid lane, actually, and it's going to be in favor here for Avid, doing a lot of that burst that we talked about during the picks, and so far they're still Fraud, and Avid's still able to hold the lane though, even taking that damage.
Yeah, and we've got Fraud Esports, of course, on the red side too. We've got How Nigin. Sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Faker Fangirl on Jaina, El Pedro Park on Vala, Kiefers playing the ETC, and Bella Morte on Thrall.
Bella Morte, I like that name.
Yeah, I think a few of these have been on the Nexus Globetrotters team name, so maybe they're underneath a different team name now, but actually Dark Whale and Jingle's actually taking a lot of damage. Dark Whale will go down. That's first kill here, first blood going in favor of Fraud Esports, with that Jaina dishing out a ton of damage.
And in early games, she's actually very powerful, and what really I feel makes her so strong is her slow and the ability of her chill. And whenever seeing the talents that she took here, she did take the increase of slow, which allows them to easily go up like they did in this lane and keep an enemy from running too far away, allowing this baller to do a lot of damage, and the frontliners, which would be ETC, Thrall, and Uther, to come in and do what they need to do.
Oh yeah, they took down that squishy Sylvanas very quickly. As far as other talents, do you notice anything interesting worth mentioning here at the level 1 talents as we head into level 4?
Actually, and this is just because I'm not an avid Thrall player much anymore after he got nerfed. I still feel like he can be very powerful on certain maps and on certain comps. However, he did get Rolling Thunder, and normally you would still get the one that would increase your E. And I feel like this could be very powerful, yet I feel like the other talent for his E, I can't remember the name for his E ability, can still do a lot more. But other than that, I mean, I feel like this will definitely go in the favor just because of that mana restore.
Some of the members of Avid Pulse tried to get a jump on Thrall actually, but he had no problem getting away. And we do notice that there are 2 Envenoms on the side of Fraud, so they're going to be really looking to be able to take down members of AVID Pulse really quickly, especially when you look at the damage already being put out by Jaina and Vala, who's going with the multi-shot build.
And they're actually having really strong rotations here. Fraud just being able to get up here and get full control here on this tribute. And at the same time, AVID is still trying to make a go to grab it, but it's not really working out for them. They're going to have to back off here, and they're losing quite a bit of soak by trying to contest this.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see teams give up that tribute in favor of Soak, but this time they actually tried to go for it and left lanes a little bit, and they were already a bit behind. So you're right, we're seeing Fraud Esports already ahead, getting ahead in experience gain.
And Faker Vanguard are actually going to go for an early Knights. And with Jaina, she takes so much damage. Uthri's coming here to help, but a big part of this game is keeping your health pool, making sure you don't lose it too much. And at the same time, you just don't want to lose that health. It's so vital for any situation. And Thrall does get picked off here in the bot lane.
A very clutch overpower from Diablo actually keeps him from escaping. And a good stun from Tronda as well to keep him from being able to get back behind that gate. And that will bring them back a little bit in experience, but AVID Pulse are still a little bit behind, and the next tribute should be spawning soon, so they'll definitely want to get that level 7 so they'll be even in talents.
Definitely. And for the level 7, nothing really too different here. However, he did get Wind Shear, which is pretty standard, but he didn't get the other ability for his E at level 1. So him mixing it up a little bit and not going with a standard build, I feel like that could work out for Thrall, especially since his battle momentum was removed. But other than that, we'll see how he goes. I'm just really interested in that.
So we've got the next tribute fight. Both teams are level 7. This is a very difficult one to try to engage into for AVID Pulse. They've got to be pretty careful here. They're already taking a lot of damage, and actually Darkwhale gets stunned by Thrall, or rooted I should say, and quickly goes down as well. And because of that, even though the respawn timers are short, this will be another tribute in favor of Fraud Esports.
Definitely. And with Fraud Esports position here, they could actually, if they wanted to, attempt to protect their boss. However, they just need more. I feel like they need a little bit more control here. El Pedro is going to look to keep pushing this top lane here, which is going to put AVID behind a little bit. And at the same time, they're split pushing mid here, Keepers and Haunujin, but they're taking quite a bit of damage, which will be neglected by this heal from Haunujin.
Yeah, these names are fun to say, huh?
I'm just going to call him Howl.
That's a good idea. Up top, actually, Pedro and Faker are dealing a lot of damage. It's actually, I should probably say Faker Fangirl full-on so that Faker doesn't sue us or whatever. But they did take down that whole entire wall, and the 2 towers really pushed them ahead in experience too. They're definitely trying to get to level 10 before the next tribute because that'll pretty much guarantee them the tribute. Obviously, there are some room for changes on that, but it'll be really hard to engage into a team with heroic
There's an
abilities.
engagement going on bot lane right now. Darkwell taking a lot of damage, but he is going to back off. And this is where I was talking about your health pool really matters coming into favor here. He was so low, and if there was a little bit more on top of this gank right here, and Jingle Sassy didn't rotate down to give Darkwell that health that he needed, he probably could have died right there.
Well, here we go. We've got the tribute. Now, it is in a difficult position for Fraud Esports, kind of the opposite of where it was in the last setting. And if you notice, Vala is staying up at top. They're in the bush, though.
He's going to go, and he's going to fall right now. ETC jumping right on top of him, followed up with Faker Fangirl, slow and burst. And Blizzard being completely diverted with this Frostman, and he actually is going to go down to Vala, rotating down on top of this. And the curse will go to Fraud Esports.
So not only do they have a curse, but they also only have 4 people to defend it now with Wispa just now getting back up. So that's going to be difficult. They're going to have a lot of pushing time here.
Indeed. Everything's actually still pretty standard here. Water Elemental, I really didn't get to talk about the ultimates for them yet, but Water Elemental really standard, and I personally like Frost Ring. And that's just because Frost Ring, I like that it holds the enemies in place, it freezes and does a chunk of damage, so you can do a lot of burst. But Water Elemental is great for backline champions like AVID has right now, which can really slow them down and keep them from running away.
Yeah, it's really cool, but Water Elemental at least does have a slow on it too, and it is able to stick on people when sometimes Jaina has to get away, so that can be nice too. It could kind of force people to go away. They are going to go for this top fort here now, and Darkwell is coming in. ETC is going to jump in though, and now the rest of the team is a little bit separated. Thrall is going to actually sunder and push them all away, and Tirana's going to go down, followed by the Diablo. Now they are standing underneath that Starfall and taking quite a bit of damage, but they're just going to push forward, take out Sylvanas as well, and that's 3 kills for 0 deaths on the side of Fraud Esports.
Actually, they have 1 death.
They died in that fight?
No, Thrall died earlier.
Oh, I meant in that actual fight. Sorry.
Oh, in that fight.
Yeah.
You're fine.
So they are going to go ahead and pick up their Golem, and now they have their level 13 talents as well, so that's an extra talent lead for a very sizable amount of levels too, 2 whole levels.
Definitely, and I mean, this Golem is not going to, I feel like it can be diverted here by AVID, just in my experience. They are prepared for this, they know it's coming, they know they can't contest it, so they're preparing to defend it here. With Sylvanas everything mid here, as we're going to see Fraud go and attempt to push mid here, putting a lot of aggression on Darkwell, and he is getting targeted down by the enemy team, and there's a lot of stuns coming out here by Vala, and their Diablo will fall down here.
It's crazy how fast they're taking down the enemy team's tank. Normally you see people say, oh, don't focus the tank, it takes too long, and Diablo has a huge health pool, but man, they're really, between the Vala and the Jaina, and then even Thrall throwing his DPS on top of it, they're really taking Diablo down super fast every fight.
Definitely, and they're going to be able to actually take AVID's boss and an advantage to be able to take these camps under free will without any worry. It definitely puts a lot of pressure here on AVID. Yet they can still turn this around. They just got to play their cards right. Not a lot done towards Fraud's walls. None of them has actually fallen yet. So if they can pick a good team fight here and get somebody out, like Kiefer's here, getting caught out, will be able to call this, and he's actually going to be able to push here with this boss, and that's what they're going to do. I feel they may actually get a keep here, and Darkwell getting caught out yet again with ETC diving in. This is definitely going in favor for Fraud Esports.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now what could AVID Pulse do here? What would you recommend?
Well, where the night camps are on AVID's side, they can come down and try and get a gank and pick off some of the back line, but they really don't have the engagement to do it as Diablo is down. He could come around and he can knock them back towards their keep and get a pick off here, but Sylvanas and Tirana separated, trying to soak that EXP back up, but they're getting pushed and they are going to lose a keep, which is going to be very hurtful.
Yeah, for the rest of that, the game, they'll be having to watch that lane for when Catapult's pushed down and making sure that it doesn't stay super pushed, because it'll be really easy for Fraud at any point to just run in and go straight for core that way if they were able to get a favorable engagement. So now we do see level 13 talents for AVID Pulse, but unfortunately Fraud has level 16 talents, so the rest is not quite there for them, as they're still 3 levels down in a different talent tier besides.
And definitely, and that imposing presence is going to do actually a lot for ETC if he gets targeted by everybody else, but Darkwell getting a really good lightning breath, doing tons of damage here. Keepers is actually going to fall, and wow, this is actually going in favor of AVID. This is what I was talking about earlier. However, there is 3 deaths over on AVID's side. However, they did get a pick right there, and that's what they were looking for. They couldn't really top it off with a nice little top hat there. Maybe a cane on the side with a monocle, but they really couldn't do it. And I was really hoping they would. And they had great positioning. They were able to get that ETC down really fast, but just because of ETC's imposing presence, it can be very difficult to target him now with his level 16, just because basic attacks are reduced by 50%. And me as an Illidan player, that is the most annoying thing I think you can deal with.
Is an imposing presence?
Oh yeah, imposing presence is the death of Illidan and any other melee champion.
Well, on the side of AVID Pulse, we do have Relentless for both Tychus and Diablo, and we didn't really mention it, but actually Tychus took the laser drill as well. What do you think of that? Do you like that now? Do you still like Odin?
Odin, I actually do not prefer to take. If I play Tychus, I actually prefer to take drill, especially on this. map.
Mm-hmm.
There's really good looks here. You can drop a drill, and it'll be hidden from the enemy team and doing quite a bit of damage, but there's a little bit of a fight going on here, and great ultimate by Thrall, and they're going to pick off Blizzard so quick. Darkwell going to be forced to pop that lightning breath, but it isn't going to do anything, and he will come back in 3 seconds, but he doesn't have his ult now. And Jingle Sassy taking a lot of damage, going to get slowed and killed, and they're still chasing. West going down as well, and Darkwell trying to come back in to see what he can do, but he's going to fall too. I think Fraud is going to end it right here.
Oh yeah, that will definitely be game for Fraud, who will move on to the next round, which will be the round of 8. GG's coming out. And what do you think? What do you think about that game?
I think Ivy Slime is disappointed.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
You called it. That team comp dealt just threw out a ton of damage.
Oh yeah, and the positioning I really liked. And as an amateur team, their positioning was great. They did their job. They had great rotation, and they fell on top of the enemies just like this, just pushing forward and putting a lot of aggression. And that's what's so nice about these comps. And aggression in this game can do so much. You just put so much pressure on your enemy team, preventing them from actually doing a whole lot. And especially when you have an advantage in the game, from early game to mid game to late game, that advantage will wane. And let me mute my phone here. So rude.
Also, we talked a little bit about it, but of course ETC having stage dive 2 is so crucial on that map. It's a big map, but he's able to even sort of split push and always still be there for a team fight whenever he's needed. Jumping in even in the perfect position for where he needs to be as a tank too, because of that awesome stage dive.
Definitely. And I'm glad he went stage dive. If he had gone mosh pit, he would have gave himself a death sentence there, with Tyrande being able to stun him, a grenade will be able to go out on him, and Diablo. A lot of good Diablos that I've seen will be able to overpower out of ETC mosh pit and actually be able to get lightning breath, just because you can still be viable to use that.
Well, awesome, guys. Congratulations to Fraud Esports, who's going to move on to the next round. We are going to get the next game set up for you guys, and we'll be back very shortly. See you soon.